Features that destroy reliability, drain your wallet, and cut lifespan in half while dealers smile. From headlights that cost $4,000 to transmissions that eat themselves in traffic, this list is brutal. Let's start with a so-called fuel saver nearly every new car comes with, sold as free efficiency, but secretly piling up repair bills in the thousands. At number 21, start-stop systems. Start-stop tech is pitched as a free lunch, cutting the engine at red lights to save fuel and restart seamlessly when you lift the brake. AAS testing confirmed a modest 5 to 7% fuel gain in city driving. But every restart is a stress test. Oil pressure drops to near zero and bearings face dry friction. The electrical side is even more fragile. These systems depend on pricey AGM batteries. When they degrade, the dash lights up with auto start-stop unavailable. Replacements can run $400 to $800. Be honest, do you actually like start-stop, or is it the first thing you disable? Drop it below at number 20. Sealed transmissions with lifetime fluid. Lifetime doesn't mean forever. It usually means until the warranty is over. Automatic transmission fluid oxidizes with heat and fills with metal shavings. Suppliers like ZF recommend fluid services every 50 to 75,000 miles, yet some brands tell buyers never to touch it. When fluid deteriorates, you notice harsh downshifts or limp mode. You're staring at a $5,000 repair instead of a $600 service. At number 19, cylinder deactivation. Shutting down half your cylinders sounds clever. Real-world gains are closer to 5%, but the trade-off is collapsed lifters and bent pushrods. GM, Ram, and Honda owners have seen ticking noises and misfires. RepairPal lists a Silverado camshaft job at over $4,000. Owners burn through cash just to save a few gallons of fuel. At number 18, gasoline direct injection. GD promised more power and better mileage, but oil vapors bake onto the valves, forming rock-hard carbon deposits. The fix is walnut blasting, costing $400 to over $1,000 every 50 to 70,000 miles. Dual injection systems from Toyota added port injectors just to spray the valves clean. Quiet admission of the flaw. Before we move on, hit that subscribe button. We dig into the secrets car companies gloss over so you can drive smarter and stay miles ahead of breakdowns. At number 17, 9-speed automatics. More gears for smooth cruising sounded great. Owners of Jeep Cherokees and Land Rover Evoques complained of jerky shifts and cars randomly slipping into neutral. In 2016, over 500,000 vehicles were recalled. Full replacement costs around $6,000 to $7,000. While 9 speeds sound futuristic, many drivers ended up with more frustration than efficiency. At number 16, air suspension systems. One button and your car glides like a limousine, but rubber airbags crack from hot brakes and road salt. The compressor works overtime until it fails. Replace the pump, and the leak kills the new one. More than $1,000 for a single strut, another $1,000 for the compressor. Air suspension delivers comfort, but when it fails, it empties wallets fast. At number 15, adaptive magnetic suspension. Sensors read the road, and magnets tweak each shock. But seals let fluid seep, and ride quality goes from silky to crashy. The computer flags the failure and locks the car into harsh fallback mode. A single magnetic shock on an Audi R8 runs more than $1,000, while Cadillac SUVs see bills over $2,000 per corner. At number 14, plastic engine components. Plastic cooling parts are lighter than aluminum, but coolant and heat break down polymer chains, turning housings brittle until they crack. On Volkswagen's 2.0T engines, replacing the thermostat, pump assembly costs over $1,000. Ford's plastic intake. Manifolds were so failure-prone that a class action settlement cost hundreds of millions. At number 13, electronic parking brakes. A neat switch replaces the old handbrake, but electronic systems add motors, sensors, and wiring. Ford recalled nearly 900,000 F-150 trucks because wiring could trigger the brake while driving. When it fails, a single electronic caliper runs. $800 to $1,000. What used to be a cheap cable swap is now a four-figure gamble. Do you trust electronic parking brakes? Or would you rather stick to the old-school lever? At number 12, pop-out door handles. Poop-out handles sell aerodynamics and style. But these handles rely on motors buried inside the door. When they freeze or lose voltage, the door won't open. Tesla owners tap handles to break ice, while Jaguar drivers deal with water sneaking into switches. When failure hits, expect $400 to $1,000 per handle, plus labor. At number 11, integrated infotainment screens. Giant screens promise seamless control. But when that screen freezes, so do the essentials. Tesla's 2021 recall admitted memory where it could blank the rear camera and climate controls. Mazda owners faced ghost touches from moisture corrosion. Repair bills hit $1,200 for a Ford Sync module, or $2,000 for Tesla's infotainment upgrade. At number 10, touch-sensitive controls. Touch panels look futuristic, but fail instantly. Swedish tests found touchscreen-heavy cars took 4 times longer to adjust simple settings. Cadillac's Q screens delaminated, causing ghost touches. Repairs topped $1,000 because the entire unit needed replacement. Ford settled a $17 million lawsuit over my Ford Touch freezing constantly. At number 9, modern driver assist systems. Lane keeping and adaptive cruise promise fewer crashes, but a simple windshield replacement throws cameras off, forcing recalibration that adds hundreds. Chabe found nearly 40% of repair costs now come from ADAS sensors. Phantom braking and false alerts push drivers to switch them off entirely. At number 8, sealed premium headlights. LED and xenon headlights promise lifetime use, but Audi's service bulletins state you replace the entire headlight assembly if one LED strip goes out. What was a $10 bulb swap now runs over $1,000 per side. High-end matrix systems climb past $4,000. Moisture turns into corrosion and dead modules once the warranty expires. At number 7, dual-clutch transmissions. DCTs promise razor-fast shifts, but in traffic, they slip clutches to creep forward, creating heat and wear. Ford's DPS6 sparked lawsuits after endless complaints. Volkswagen's mechatronics recall admitted cars could pop into neutral. Repair bills run $3,000 too. $5,000 for DSG fixes and up to $20,000 for Porsche PDK replacements. At number 6, run flat tires. Take a nail and still drive 50 miles without a jack. But if you use the run flat capability, most brands force you to replace the entire tire. Continental and Pirelli forbid repairs. That turns a $30 patch into a $300 tire bill. J.D. Power found 27% of run flat drivers placed rubber in the first 2 years compared with 16% on regular tires. Add bent rims from stiff sidewalls and costs skyrocket. At number 5, turbochargers on everything. Automakers slap turbos on smaller engines to meet fuel economy targets while maintaining power. Sounds efficient until the turbo fails. These units spin at over 100,000 RPM. It's in temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees. Oil starvation from poor maintenance kills them fast. When a turbo goes, you're looking at $1,500 to $3,000 for replacement, sometimes more on luxury brands. And modern turbos are often integrated into exhaust manifolds, turning a turbo job into an entire engine-out procedure. Ford's EcoBoost engines suffered from carbon buildup that choked turbos prematurely, while Volkswagen's TSI units had wastegate failures that triggered limp mode. The fuel savings vanish the moment that turbo bill arrives. At number 4, CVT continuously variable transmissions. CVTs were supposed to deliver seamless acceleration and better fuel economy by eliminating fixed gears. Instead, they delivered whining noises, sluggish responses, and catastrophic failures. Nissan faced multiple class action lawsuits over CVTs that shuddered, overheated, and died before 100,000 miles. The steel belt inside wears down from constant friction, and once it starts slipping, the entire unit needs replacement. Costs run $3,500 to $5,000, and that's if you catch it early. Subaru owners report similar issues, with CVTs failing under heavy load or towing despite being rated for it. The promise of efficiency becomes a gamble on whether your transmission survives past the warranty period. At number 3. Timing chains instead of belts. Automakers marketed timing chains as lifetime components that never need replacement, unlike belts. The reality is modern chains stretch, guides wear, and tensioners fail, often catastrophically. BMW's N20 engines had timing chains that could snap without warning, destroying the entire engine. Ford's 3.5L EcoBoost engines suffered similar failures, with repair costs hitting $5,000 or more. The irony is that a timing belt costs $500 to $1,000 to replace every 60,000 to 100,000 miles. But when ignored chains fail, you're rebuilding or replacing the entire engine. Volkswagen, Audi, and even Toyota have seen chain problems on specific engines. Lifetime doesn't mean indestructible. It means expensive when it finally breaks. At number 2, subscription-based features. BMW tried charging monthly fees for heated seats already installed in your car. Mercedes wanted subscriptions for acceleration boosts. Toyota locked remote start behind a paywall. This isn't innovation, it's ransom. You paid full price for the car, but now you're renting features that used to be standard. When the subscription ends, so does the function, even though the hardware sits in your vehicle doing nothing. Owners are paying twice, once for the car and again for the privilege of using what's already there. This trend turns car ownership into a permanent lease, where automakers control what you can and cannot use in a vehicle you supposedly own. At number 1, over-the-air updates that brick your car. Tesla pioneered over-the-air updates and other automakers followed. Sounds convenient until an update fails and your car becomes a $50,000 brick in your driveway. Owners have reported updates that killed power steering, disabled climate control, or left screens black. Rivian owners waited hours for updates to install, only to find new bugs introduced. Ford's Mustang Mach-E had update failures that required dealer intervention. The worst part is, you have no control. The update downloads whether you want it or not, and if it goes wrong, you're stranded until a technician fixes it. What used to require a simple software rollback now means towing your car to a dealer and waiting days for a fix. Remote updates gave automakers power to change your car whenever they want, and when it goes wrong, you pay the price. These 21 features prove that innovation doesn't always equal improvement. Automakers prioritize cost-cutting and flashy marketing over reliability, leaving you with repair bills that make car payments look cheap. The worst part is, most of these problems won't show up until after the warranty expires, exactly as planned. If this list opened your eyes to the expensive traps hiding in modern cars, smash that like button and subscribe, because we're exposing the truth dealerships won't tell you. Drop a comment with the worst feature you've dealt with. We read every single one.